Hey homies, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, plan is pretty simple. What we're going to do is we're just going to go through just kind of the basics of the game Super Auto Pets. This is just going to be a quick guide to kind of get you guys a little more comfortable in what to look for and what to expect as you play, which will hopefully then lead you to a little more consistency in terms of your win total. You know, maybe you consistently will get that 5, 6, even up to 10 wins as you kind of learn the basics of the game. And obviously this is going to be geared more towards the beginners or those that are maybe just looking for a little extra hits here and there. So let's jump into it. So obviously first you hit play arena to get into it. So this is going to be your main hub. This is what I call the shop screen. So there's a few things we're going to kind of talk through so you kind of understand what it is you're looking for and what you need to continue to look out for as you play. So first we'll start at the top of the screen here where you have the gold, which is you have 10 gold every round. So every round you have 10 gold to spend in the shop screen. You start out with 4 hearts or 4 lives, and every time you lose a battle, you lose a heart. Anytime you win a battle, you gain a trophy. Obviously it's 0 out of 10. So the ultimate goal obviously is to get 10 wins because then you completed an arena run with full victories. And then the last one is this little timer, and it has a 1 next to it, which means we're going to go into turn 1. So every round that you finish, the timer will go up, and every second round you'll unlock a new tier of unit, which I'll explain here in just a second. So this top 5 slots is going to be what your team is. So obviously throughout you're going to be buying pets to be able to put up here, and they're going to battle for you. So these are the 5 slots, which means that's going to be your team. So how do you get your team? Great question, glad you asked. So if you look down here, this is your buy screen. So these are the areas of the pets you can buy and the food you can buy to empower or strengthen your pets. So everything down here costs 3 gold. And since we're on turn 1, all we have is tier 1 units, which is represented by the single digit or the single dot on your dice. So obviously, as you see, all 4 of these are tier 1. And down here, where it says roll, you can see what tier you currently have unlocked. So for example, right now we're only in tier 1, so if I roll, I can only get tier 1 units. So let's kind of go into it. So the basics of Super Auto Pets obviously are you want to try to build your strongest team so that you can win consistently when you hit in turn and enter the battle screen. So the way to do that is by buying strong units, combining the same unit to make them stronger, or empowering units with different items or different food that you can get in the shop. So for this opening one, honestly, I have a pretty terrible opening 3 units. But I do have a pair, and early pairs are always good because you can combine 3 of the same unit to get them a level up, which makes them a little bit stronger, gives their ability to have a little more strength, and it gives you a free unlock of the next tier of unit that you don't currently have access to. So I'll explain that when we actually have the opportunity to do it. So as a result, I'm going to go ahead and buy 2 of the crickets. Because again, it's a free pair, so as you can see, I bought 1, I lost 3 gold, I bought the second one, I lost another 3, so 6 gold total. So their ability right now, as you can see when you hover over a unit, it tells you what their ability is. So cricket, faint, summon a 1/1 cricket. So I'm going to roll, because it costs 1 gold to roll, and I'll still have 3 gold left over, which will hopefully lead me to a better unit I can buy. So what I was offered is a duck and 2 horses, and then I got an apple as an option 2. So what I'm going to do, since I have 2 pairs, or a pair of crickets, and what they do is they summon a unit, I'm going to buy a horse, because his ability synergizes well, because when it says friend summon, give it +1 attack until end of battle. So if I put the horse behind my crickets, when they faint, those 1/1 crickets will get +1 attack, so they'll have 2 attack and 1 health. Speaking of attack and health, that's represented in these 2 symbols down here. So this little like fist, which I always thought looked like kind of like a shell, but I think it's supposed to represent a fist, is their attack that they do, so the damage they deal to the opponent. And then obviously their heart is how much health they have. So what's going to happen when I end turn, I'll go into the battle screen. Oh, the fun part of this too is you get to name your team. They give you 3 adjectives and 3 nouns or subjects that you can build a team in. I always look to do alliteration here, but for this, we'll just go with the boring gems. So when you end turn, they'll find an opponent for you of the same turn that you're on. So this opponent that I'll face is also on turn 1, and we'll battle. So obviously, we'll do this. So basically what happens is they hit each other. So I'll let this go through its So they hit each other, and your enemy's unit will and your unit will hit each other, and they'll deal their damage to each other, taking away the hearts from the other one. And then whoever gets knocked out, that unit will stay alive if they knocked out the other one and attack the next unit, and so on and so forth until there's no more units left on somebody's board. So as you can see there, I did get the win because my units were able to knock out his units, and so I got a trophy for it. And as you can see, we are now on turn 2 because we finished the first full turn, so we're in turn 2. So the same thing, turn 2, I have the same tier. I have a level 1 tier that I can do. They gave me 2 more horses. So I'll go ahead and buy the horses. And so what I did here is I went ahead and instead of combining them right now, I'm going to save the combine for next turn so that I can unlock that next tier unit. So I'm going to go ahead and roll here. And I got another horse, so they're really going heavy on the horses here. So I'll go ahead and put the horse, and I'll combine one of my horses. So as you can see, right now this horse has 2 attack and 1 health. The reason why he has 2 attack is because when I summoned him, when I bought him, my original horse buffed him 1 attack. So that'll carry into the next battle. Now, this 2/1 horse, when I combine the new horse, that's a 1/1, whenever you combine a unit, they'll always get +1 attack and +1 health. So even if this unit was a 6/6 and I put the horse into him, then he'd go up 1/1 and be a 7/7. Now let's say you have a unit like a cricket that's a 1/2, and I combine the other cricket. He's not going to get 1 attack and 2 health added to him. He's only going to get 1 attack, 1 health. So whenever you combine 2 units, you always get just a 1 attack, 1 health buff. So that's the turn. We'll end turn again and go into our second battle. And I'll try to make this one go a little slower so I can, again, show you a little more clearly what's happening. Okay, so when I hit play, what's going to happen is the fish is going to attack my cricket. The fish has 2 attack, 3 health, so he's obviously going to knock him out because I only have 2 health. So as we'll see, oh, sorry, the guy had an ability to do. So he knocked him out. And because my cricket fainted, I summoned the 1/1 zombie cricket, and my 2 horses buffed him up. So now when they attack, my zombie cricket will knock out his fish because I have 3 attack to his 2 health, but his fish, who has 2 attack, will still knock out my zombie cricket. So there's no like first strike or anything like that like you can get in some card games. You always just attack at the same time. So that's one thing to kind of consider as you're kind of going through. So this one is going to be a loss because he just ends up having a lot more units on the board than I do. But whenever you lose a round, you only lose 1 heart regardless of how much you lost. So defeat. So now, because we're on turn 3, so again, once you start, every 2 turns, you unlock a new tier of unit. So on this one, now we have tier 2 animals unlocked. So it just means you have a better chance of getting a few more units, and some that are slightly stronger because they're tier 2 units, or they do different things. And you unlock a new food slot, which gives you tier 2 food items. So now I'm going to go ahead and combine my combine one of my horses with this horse to give it 3 total horses, which will make it level up. So as he leveled up, he got the 1/1 stats for combining, and he went to level 2. So now his ability, as a result, is upgraded. Instead of just giving +1 attack until the end of battle, he gives +2 attack when a friend is summoned. So that's one of the benefits of the leveling up. And if you saw, all of a sudden, we have a new animal down here. And you can see he is a tier 3 animal. So because we combined, and our highest level animal we can get is a tier 2, when we leveled up a new animal, you get you get a new animal that is a tier above what you're currently able to have. So again, that's one of the benefits of getting some early ones and combining. So I'm going to go and combine my crickets also to get potentially another really good unit. Rabbit, not the best, but we'll go ahead and throw them in. I did not mean to combine them, but that's okay. You know, sometimes you misclick and you make mistakes. And then, oh yeah, another thing you can do is you can freeze things in your shop. So because I'm really close to a level 3 horse, I'm going to freeze this horse. So what that means is next time when I get to my shop, these 4 things will re-roll to new things, but the horse will stay the same. Sometimes you can kind of balance it to where you increase your chances of getting something, or you can freeze something because you know you'll want to spend the money on it next turn. So again, basically the biggest part of Super Auto Pets is just kind of playing it to get used to kind of the mechanics and the units. but at least this kind of gives you the basic starting points. You have your 10 gold that you get every round. You start with 4 health, 4 lives, and every time you lose a little heart. Your goal is to get 10 wins or 10 trophies. I consider like 5 or 6 wins a win in the arena, because obviously you have more wins than losses. And so that's kind of my goal every round, is to get about 6, because I know that I had a successful run. And you have your turn timer, which just means how many rounds you're into it. Now you might be wondering why they have that, because wouldn't every game take 10 to 14 rounds, depending on losing your lives or getting your trophies? But there are situations where you can draw, where you both knock each other out and you have no pets left over. So you draw, you don't get a trophy, you don't lose a life, you just go to the next round and you have your pets. So that's kind of, again, the basics of Super Auto Pets.